Imagine a man with no name, no identification, no past, found dead, but not discarded, placed, almost staged. A single phrase clutched in his secret pocket, written on a torn slip of paper. 2 words. Tamám Shud. It is finished. But this was only the beginning. The day began with a ripple of normalcy. Commuters walked past the seawall. Joggers trotted by the shore. Seagulls picked at seaweed along the sand. No one paid much attention to the man slumped against the retaining wall. His legs stretched out and crossed at the ankles. His shoes gleamed as if they'd just been polished. He could have been asleep. But as the hours dragged on, he never moved. The morning sun climbed higher. The temperature rose. Still, he sat perfectly still. Back stiff. Head tilted unnaturally. Only when a woman walking her dog leaned closer did she notice the pale hue of his skin. The lifeless eyes behind half-shut lids. Police arrived, but what they found only deepened the mystery. The man had no wallet, no ID. Every label on his clothing had been meticulously removed. He wore a perfectly pressed suit, a white shirt, a tie with a curious brown and orange stripe pattern. Formal, yet slightly offbeat. He had clean-shaven features, soft hands, and a build that suggested he had once been athletic. Oddest of all? A half-smoked cigarette balanced neatly on his collar, as if placed there deliberately. There were no bruises, no wounds, no blood. Just a dead man on a beach who appeared to have simply ceased to exist. Authorities moved the body to the Adelaide morgue. But the real horror was just beginning. Dr. John Dwyer performed the autopsy. It should have been routine. A man in his 40s or early 50s, apparently healthy, likely middle class, with no signs of external trauma. But internally, things were wrong. His spleen was 3 times the normal size. His liver and stomach were congested with blood. He'd eaten a pasty, minced meat pastry, about 3 to 4 hours before death. But there was no trace of poison. No chemical markers in his blood or organs. The heart was normal. The brain, untouched. The lungs are slightly congested, but nothing fatal. The cause of death? The coroner finally wrote, poisoning, but of a type unknown to science. The poison, if it had been used, had left no trace. It suggested something extraordinarily rare. Possibly a glucoside poison, such as digitalis or strepanthin, administered in a way that defied detection. And yet, why would someone go to such surgical lengths to make the man disappear, yet leave the body out in the open, in public view? Nothing made sense. 6 weeks passed with no identification. Then, a lead. At Adelaide railway station, a brown suitcase had been left in the cloakroom on November 30th, the day before the man was discovered. Inside, ordinary things made strange. A dressing gown, slippers, a shaving kit, a screwdriver, a stenciling brush, a small zinc comb, a pair of trousers with a hidden pocket, a table knife, deliberately filed down. One clue stood out. A spool of orange thread, barber brand, not available in Australia, only sold in the United States. But once again, every label had been removed. Every monogram was snipped away. The name tags were missing from the shirts, and the lining was removed from the jacket. He wanted, desperately, to remain anonymous. Why? Some speculated he was a drifter. Others, a spy. The Cold War was brewing. The timing couldn't be ignored. In nearby Woomera, Australia's most secretive weapons testing facility had just opened. Was the Tamám Man connected to espionage? Who travels with no ID, no labels, and a sharpened knife? And why with such care taken to erase his identity, did he leave himself out in plain view. In April 1949, nearly 5 months after the death, a new discovery shook the case. A tiny hidden pocket, neatly sewn into the waistband of the man's pants, was found during a second search. Inside, rolled so tightly it required forceps to extract, was a piece of paper. Words typed in a distinct font. Tamám Shud. 2 Persian words. Translated. It is finished. Police traced the phrase to a book of poetry, the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a philosophical work meditating on fate, mortality, and the fleeting nature of life. Had the man taken his own life in some poetic gesture? Was it a code? A warning? The paper had been cleanly torn from a book. But which book? Weeks later, a man came forward with an astonishing claim. He had parked his car near Somerton Beach, and weeks earlier, found a book tossed into the back seat. He hadn't thought much of it, until now. The book? The Rubaiyat, with the final page missing. It matched the Tamám Shud slip exactly. In the back of the book, investigators found something extraordinary. A handwritten sequence of letters, appearing random, arranged in lines. It was crossed out, altered, and rewritten. Was it a code? Experts from Australia's Navy and international cryptographers were brought in. Even the American NSA reportedly reviewed it. But no one could break it. The pattern had some structure. Too consistent to be gibberish. Too erratic to be clean code. Beneath the letters, another clue. A phone number. It led to a woman living in Glenelg, just 5 minutes from where the body was found. Her name, Jo Thompson. Police questioned her. She was a nurse. Elegant. Private. When shown the death mask of the Somerton Man, witnesses say she was visibly shaken and almost fainted. Yet she claimed not to know him. In her home, investigators found a copy of the Rubaiyat, but not the right edition. She denied any connection. But her reactions, her refusal to speak publicly, only deepened suspicion.